I have come here today to talk to you about software, specifically about software downgrades. I had the 1980 something version of WordPerfect 5.1 for DOS, and it was easily the best word processor I've ever used. It did everything I've ever wanted to do with a word processor, and really everything that I would have wanted to do if I was publishing a book. It had footnotes and endnotes and page numbering and all the kind of stuff, and was actually capable of doing a lot of those fancy, fluffy things that just distract from the book anyway. And it could embed pictures too, so I mean, it had everything. It also had a 700-page manual. Today, you don't get a 700-page manual. You get, when you buy Windows, which is this incredibly complicated operating system that has thousands of features, you don't get an operating manual at all. You get nothing. Now, I have a toaster, and I went to the store and I bought a toaster for like $7.99. And that toaster probably will not last as long as the 1950 version of Proctor Silex that you buy from Made in America, that you buy from the thrift shop. Yeah, you can't expect them to do anything as well as they did it in 1950, can you? No. But it works. And it has two features, up and down. Now the way it operates, and you've probably used one and probably already know, you don't even need to look it up, but is that you put the bread in and you push it down, and after a while it comes up. And it has a fucking manual! Ugh. They make this trashware obsolete by making this application won't run under this version of that, and this printer only runs under Windows, and you can't use your DOS printer anymore, and you can't use your DOS box because you can't get a printer that fits an LPT port anymore, and so on like that. And it's a vast conspiracy, and I know you're looking for a tinfoil hat, and you say, "Well, Drake, you can't be serious. This is the stupidest conspiracy theory I've ever heard. The software and hardware people all together in one conspiracy?" Well, kind of they are. They're in a conspiracy where they don't even need to ask each other. They don't even need to really conspire. What they do is never make a piece of hardware that's not for the very latest thing, and never write software that runs on anything but the latest hardware. And that means that every time you have anything go wrong, like, well, they make a printer, and they really do this, they make a printer and they put a timer in it that counts the number of pages it's printed. And when it's printed that many pages, it stops working. On purpose. It's made to stop working. Now you have to buy a new printer. The new printer doesn't fit the port that your old printer plugged into. You're going to have to buy a new computer too. Well, you could get a card to put on there, but yeah, but then maybe it won't work with the operating system you have, so you'll have to downgrade your operating system too. And all of these things are made so that they're not as good as what you used to have. I used to have a batch file and macro system for WordPerfect that I could start this thing up with just a few keystrokes, and it would use merge mail to generate an envelope addressed to whoever I'd specified on the command prompt. I'd print the envelope, then it would call up a copy of a letterhead, and then it would start WordPerfect on that, and you'd watch some screens go flashing by, and then it would say, "Dear Joe," and you'd type your letter. And then I think I mapped it onto Control F10, save and exit. You hit those two keys, and it went "Sincerely Drake Kofoed" at the bottom, and then it printed the letter, and all I had to do was sign it, stick it in the envelope, and mail it. Today, I have to find Joe's address and type it in. Now, I could have pre-addressed letterheads and pre-addressed envelopes, or I could do some kind of cutting and pasting, but I'd have to like set up a whole system. Where do I store these things? How do I find them? Where do you store something, and how do you find it? Those are jobs for a computer. Remember when they had computers to do those things? You didn't have to do them by hand? Ha! One of those obsolete systems, the first one that I ever worked on, was the IBM System 360. In like, when was this? 1974. You could pick one up for about $20-30 million, which was real money in those days, you know. And if you had like another 10 or 15,000, you could buy a 5 meg hard drive. It was about the size of a, you know, your secretary's desk. Not big enough for Donald Trump, but you know, pretty good sized desk. And it weighed way too much for one guy to pick it up. But that system ran an entire university. It did the payroll, it did the grades, it printed out all the letters about so-and-so you have to register within a certain time. You know, you are enrolled in the following classes, all that stuff at 1 point something megahertz. And it did all that work, and it got it done so easily that we bought time on it to try to learn Fortran 4, which was impossible because Fortran 4 doesn't work. And the manual's wrong too. But at least, I mean, there was a manual that was wrong. Nowadays, there's not a manual that's wrong. There's no manual at all. I wanted a print screen utility, and I got one that I think I was installing an antivirus, right? And so this print screen utility comes along. Well, you want this, right? Okay, yeah. And it was good. It has an editor that's kind of like Paint, and you can hit some keys and save the screen. It's not as simple as just hitting print screen and having the way some of the old DOS apps were. What you would run a terminate and stay resident program, and you would hit print screen, and it would capture the print screen rather than going to the printer. It would put it into a file. So every time you had something that you thought, yeah, I might want to look at this again, you just hit print screen, and it was kind of like, you know, it's kind of like you could turn around to the cab driver and say, oh, take a picture of that for me and put it in the file, with the operating system being cab driver. And of course, in those days, the cab driver was a Greek called DOS, and if you didn't tell him exactly how to do something with the proper grammar, then he would just ignore what you'd told him and say, is bad Greek. And that was it. Then you had to get out the manual and figure out what you did wrong. But now there's no manual to get out. And there might be a help screen. The help screen usually, though, when you get into it, it'll tell you like how to do everything but what you're trying to do. And then they have the frequently asked questions, which nobody needs to know. But the stuff that doesn't work, they don't have a help screen for that. And you get into these help screens and they say, go to this menu, go to that menu, go over and click on this, and the thing that they want you to click on, it's not there. Oops. Erroneous help screen. Now, when you find something like that with a manual, you try about 6 different things, and you finally figure out a way that works, and you write it in the margin of the manual, and then at least you know where to go. You look up the function, and right there in the margin it says, this doesn't work. This is how you really do it. Okay. We have been forced since really the peak of PC operating systems, DOS 3.3, to repeatedly downgrade our operating systems to the point where they can't do anything. I went to get a video editor, okay? And what I wanted to put stuff up on YouTube, and I wanted something that could cut off the little junk at the beginning and the little junk at the end and convert it into a file format that YouTube could read. Well, I tried about 10 different programs. 3 or 4 of them just made the computer freeze. There were some of them that told you how to do those simple things, the simplest things in the book. Told you how to do them, but like it said, click on this thing. And there's nowhere to click on it. I mean, there's lots of places to click, but there's no result when you click. And then they crash the machine, you'd have to take them off. They would, you would try to save the file and it won't save it. One of them saved a file in some format, well, I don't know what it was, some format of its own, and it had a double extension on it. And that program was unable to pick up and read the file that it itself had created. There was an error reading the file. And then I found out, now I don't know what YouTube's got for a converter. They may not have even told us, but probably they've got one. I would suggest, if I thought there was, well, contact us means go round and round and round, but we're not actually going to talk to you. We're not really going to give you a place that you can send us an email. That's not going to happen. That you could send us a little 2-sentence email, and then we could respond to you. It would take us 20 seconds to do that. We're not going to take that kind of time on you. So, or if they still want money from you or something, well, they will take 20 seconds for you, but first you have to pay your dues by sitting on hold for 45 minutes while it plays some horrible music, and then breaks every once in a while to tell you that a customer service representative will be with you shortly. Well, anyway, none of those things worked. If YouTube would, and I suppose it's useless to ask, but if they would, what I think they should do is create a file converter that'll take every electronic format that exists for video files anything that could be made into a YouTube uh, video. And you could upload it, and it would say, we don't care what format it's in, and we're not asking you what format you want. We're going to convert it to our format. And it would convert it to their format, and then it would say, do you want to edit it? Do you want to stick these two files together end to end? Do you want to trim some stuff off? Do you want to go through it and make it lighter or darker or whatever? And for my money, don't even put music in it. Why did they put music in? Somebody come here, they'd listen to me talk, and that's hard enough. But if you had to listen to me talk and I was playing music at the same time to make it harder to hear me, like, how does that make it a better video? Wow. That's not my idea of a better video at all. I feel very downgraded. I've been downgraded again. And you know, it's not even just software. I've been downgraded in everything. There used to be a company called Thompson that made what they called a spike sprinkler. And it was like a big steel nail with a zinc casting on the top of it that screwed onto the end of a hose. And in the zinc casting, they had a little bronze tube that was cut with a little wedge shape cutout in it. And so what you did with the Thompson spike sprinkler is you screwed it into, and they were 135 degree spread. That was the only angle they came in. You screwed it onto the end of the hose. You walked out and found the thing you wanted to water, and you stuck it in the ground in front of the thing that you wanted to water and turned the water on. And you could water just by turning the hose up and down. You could water like 3 feet away or 15 feet away, something like that. You could use it for the lawn, you could use it for a shrub, you could dribble, you could use it in the vegetable garden. Same fitting, and the thing cost $2 or $3. You can't get a Thompson spike sprinkler anymore. They don't make them. They used to be made in the USA. You know, back when we made stuff in the USA and we made American jobs, well, those days are over with. Today, you can look through all the sprinklers you want to see. Like, look on eBay, look at the hardware store, doesn't matter where you go. Almost every single one you see is made in China out of crummy plastic that's too thin and that gets brittle in the sun, and it doesn't spray the water like you want it to. This is a problem that was solved correctly by Thompson so long ago that if you could find a Thompson spike sprinkler today, it would be an antique. And it came with a manual. It was just one page on the back of the package. That's all it had to be, because it only had just the features on low, on high, stuck in the ground, held in your hand. But it mentioned those features. And the manual was right. They actually told you how to use it, and it actually did what you bought it for. We've been downgraded. A guy tells me, well, I was interested, where was this wood lathe made? I wanted an American one. Well, it's made in China. But it costs just as much as the American-made ones, because once they get rid of our manufacturing base and we can't make them anymore, they can charge whatever they want for their stuff because they don't have any competition. And they make it with slave labor, so they can afford to sell it cheap at the beginning in order to drive our businesses out. And then they downgrade us to this butter soft steel and motors that only last, for a couple hundred hours and all that kind of stuff. Guy says, well, that's the mainstream now. Yeah, well, I guess that's true. It's the mainstream that's running in the wrong channel. You've been downgraded.